delight to have you all here today for our celebration. It really is a very momentous day. There are a lot of reasons for that. Certainly one is the fact that Louis is here. And that's a comment I was going to make later. Louis is a great person, but one of the things he tends to have a problem with is he gets preoccupied with winter weather. I think that's going on right now. But it is a very momentous occasion to have Louis here. I mean, just 15 minutes ago, a congressman from the United States House of Representatives stopped by and spent about 7 minutes with us, and it was really an exciting couple of minutes. Thanks to John Sokish for getting Congressman Fatah up here to visit with us. It's also a momentous day because of the name change and because it's HPC or WPC's 71st birthday. I thought I would just talk a little bit about our heritage before I introduce Louis. HPC was created on March 5th, 1942, as the Weather Bureau Analysis Center. It was referred to as the Analysis Center. It was created to meet the growing needs during World War II of the United States to become more efficient as the country was mobilizing for the war that had already broken out. At that time, the primary function of the Analysis Center was to do surface analyses, highs and lows and fronts, every 6 hours, and to make the very aggressive forecast into the future of 12 hours of where the highs and the lows and the fronts were going to be. Nothing to do with precipitation, just where the highs and the lows and the fronts were going to be. Over the years, the center got more and more responsibility. It combined with the Army and the Air Force to be called WABAN, which stood for the Weather Bureau, Air Force, Navy Analysis Center. And that lasted for perhaps around 10 or 15 years, 10 years or so, and then those organizations broke up, and what became the future HPC or WPC was then called NAWAC, the National Weather Analysis Center, pronounced NAWAC, and that preceded us becoming the Forecast Division, and now we're starting to get into the time period that some of you may remember. Forecast Division, Brian, I don't know if you remember when we were called Forecast Division.
I was part of the Forecast Division.
I remember.
John, when you were here, was it Forecast Division?
Yep.
For instance? Then after,
Way back when.
he's a lot older than he looks. After
Thanks for that, Jim.
Made you look young. That's good.
After the Forecast Division, we became known as the Meteorological Operations Division, and Louis was one of the chiefs of that, and then the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center, and then as of today, the Weather Prediction Center. During that time, we started out first of all at 24th and Main. When the original Analysis Center was created in 1942, it was located at the central office, and that was the fancy name they used in those days for Weather Service headquarters. So it was in Washington, Northwest. We were there for a number of years until we moved to the Suitland Complex. And some of you may have worked in the Suitland Complex. I think Ed Danaher may have been involved with that because he was one of the people who had been around the longest. Some of our alumni that come back for a holiday party that year worked in that Suitland Complex before coming to work in the World Weather Building, which happened on 2 days after the President's Day storm in 1975. And the reason why I know that is because Bill McReynolds was part of that move. 1975 in February is when we moved from the Suitland Complex to the World Weather Building. And Bill was part of that move. And then, of course, we moved into this building in August of last year. During all that time, there have been huge technical advances. So there has been a great increase in the product suite of HPC and WPC. There has been a great increase in the accuracy of our products. I mean, not only are we going much further out into the future and have many different kinds of forecasts now, but the accuracy of those forecasts has just increased tremendously in terms of, just for instance, the forecast of QPF, heavy precipitation, where our 3-day forecast now of, say, of an inch of precipitation are about as accurate as a 1-day forecast were about 30 years ago. So there has been tremendous improvement in the accuracy of the forecast, primarily as the result of the technological advances and the training that is now part of the modernized National Weather Service. So having said all of that, I think it's appropriate to introduce the person who is responsible for a lot of what I just talked about happening, Dr. Ricciolini. Louis, as many of you know, was the director of the Med Ops Division, so he was the director of one of the predecessor organizations to the HPC and the WPC. He then went on to become the director of the Office of Meteorology, came back, as probably everybody here knows, as the director of NSEP, and then as a somewhat big surprise to a lot of people, and certainly to the delight of a lot of people, except maybe for say Wayne Higgins, who's now the acting NSEP director. The delight to a lot of people really has become the director of National Weather Services. So really, it's just with a great sense of privilege that I have an opportunity to be here.
Thanks. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, so this was one prediction that...
Keep it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it down. Brian was predicting that he and I'd walk out together, retire together and walk out together.
Another blown forecast, Brian.
The problem is if I don't get the budget situation well in hand, I still might be walking out with them because the timing would be just about right. So anyway, it's an absolute delight to be back here. Obviously, I do feel very comfortable here. I did resist last night calling into the senior branch forecast number. I called John first, and he told me if I made any calls to the forecast office, he'd blow my hands off. So I still keep track of the weather. I can't, that's one thing I will never get out of my system. And obviously appreciate everything you do here. For the folks who helped prepare the talking points, I'm going off script. Okay, so I just kind of warn you. First of all, when Jim just went through the history of the organization, one thing I took note of is the emphasis on analysis. And that emphasis really carried right up into the early to mid-'70s. Even though we were doing forecasts, obviously, as part of the Weather Bureau and then Weather Service, nobody really had much confidence in them. They didn't really react to them. It became more a fodder for jokes than serious decisions. And in fact, the meteorology as a science was degraded. It was not thought about very highly because we had prediction in the science, right? You go all the way back to Margulies and Bjorknes back at the turn of the last century. They were ostracized, and Nobel, who set up all his prizes, specifically wrote that meteorologists would not be considered for prizes, which is one of the reasons Lorenz never got a prize for chaos theory. If he had done that as a mathematician, he would have got a Nobel Prize. So you see this trend, weather, and then after that, climate analysis center becoming the climate prediction center. So you're really living in a major historical transformation in terms of what we do and how people view it. And you saw that in Sandy. I just gave an opening set of comments at the IHC, the Interdepartmental Hurricane Conference. 7 days out, people actually listening and paying attention, and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 days as you approach the event, people making decisions and interacting with us in ways that I would have never dreamed possible. Now, I lived through that episode here on this floor, watched the collaboration that happened amongst the centers and the centers of the WFOs. That was not happening in 1989 when I arrived here. I saw the professionalism working through the workstation environment and getting these products out in a way that people could understand and listen. That was not happening in 1989 in large sections. I have to tell you, when I got here in 1989, the folks in the Ocean Prediction Center couldn't get their products off the floor, even if they would have been perfect and understandable. It couldn't happen. So what you see now is an incredible, I consider it a juggernaut in terms of what we can bring to the entire weather enterprise, and it's something that you should keep in mind, not only in terms of what you do today, but what you will be doing in the near future and into the future as we really try to get this country weather-ready nation. And what that means is, they are listening to us, but we still got something that Dave Caldwell called the last mile, that we still have to go in terms of people taking the decisions we think would be best. So that means we have to communicate in a way that they understand, the threats that are involved, the impacts, the potential impacts. and do it with increasing level of confidence, which means our forecast products have to get better, which means we have to support the research community and computer community that allows us to do it. And one of the things that I'm attempting to do is to make sure that the workforce is trained and that we continue, the professional development that we need, because it's not just going to be weather prediction, folks. It's going to be the whole range of environmental prediction that we're going to be asked to be responsible for. So with respect to this name change, a couple of things. Weather Prediction Center, easy to understand. Okay. Brian, it's the first time Brian's clapped for me since 1989. Look at it, doing the hallelujah and everything. Okay, so easy to understand. Prediction Center, all right? That's a key change. That is really a key change. We have to keep on emphasizing now where people need 3-day, 4-day, 5-day forecasts that they can make decisions on. This particular storm, didn't have quite the laser beam, direction that we have. If we actually get the heavy snow tomorrow, there are going to be some people who are not going to be ready. It's all right. We got predictability issues. We've got a tough forecast problem. We have boundary layer temperatures. What are they now? 35 to 40, being predicted. That's understandable. You have to understand that when people have a consistent message as we approach an event, they react a certain way, and that becomes a really important aspect of what we do. So this is more than just a name change. You are adjusting exactly what you do. The two times per day in the medium range. The expansion out to day 7 with the QPFs. These are all important advancements. They're not just an academic exercise. And I expect to see more as we move the whole enterprise forward. So I'm delighted to be here. For those of you who were here in 1989, just remember what it was like. All right, we had paper hanging from the walls. I called it a fire trap. We had a lot of people who didn't want to come here. We had people who were here who felt they couldn't get out because they were here. It was like the Hotel California. Okay. I mean, I never understood that song until I started working. It was, what we did. It was a slow process, but we put down a solid foundation for professional development. And of course, this took 13 years, but you deserve it. And I expect, really great things to happen as we move the whole other service forward. So thank you very much. Good luck with the WPC. I'll try to remember never to say HPC again. And I really do wish you all the best. And because of my new job, I've got my crew already yanking me out of here, so I can't hang around. Did you want me to cut the cake?
You gotta have photo op with the cake.
Okay, we gotta do that right now, but thank you very much.
Crystal,